All right, I am back. We are going to be covering part four of Shape Up today. Looks like we are four-fifths of the way through the book. I will see how far I can get through it tonight. Chapter 10 Extensions and Invasion Points. The 2-point extension is stable. This extension with a 2-point gap is the fundamental building block for playing on sides. Much of the ordinary reasoning about finding a base for a group in the opening centers on extending in this way. Of all the ways to construct a two-stone group on the side, this one is the most stable. We shall see in the rest of this chapter how each of the other members of the family of cone extensions has some drawback. That is no means to say that 2-point extensions are the only shape you need to know. In some cases, you can play low moves with an eye to getting immediate life. On other occasions, overall strategy dictates the use of plays on the fourth line, climbing quickly to a pivotal or focal point. The feature that we bring out in this chapter is the existence of invasion points, vital points of shape where an invasion is possible or may become possible later. There is some discussion in 13.7 of the question of whether such invasions in small places are worthwhile. The 2-point extension is not exempt from attack itself. We consider this topic in Chapter 11. The 3-point extension on the third line is useful in this sort of situation. So, split, push towards enclosure, back off high, slide, and then play 7 here. Considered on its own, the 3-point extension is a light shape. That is, one that may be defended by sacrificial means. There is an invasion point at A. On the right, depending on the context, black can usually cope this way, giving up 1 stone. So, invasion at A, bump, Hane underneath, Hane on top is a Atari, and we essentially ladder white into here. Is there an easier way to win games? Well, apparently the secret is making good shape, and that's why I've been reading this 200-page book, 200-plus page book on just making good shape. This is my 11th book I've read on Go, and I've done thousands of puzzles, and I'm still only 5Q. So I don't know if there's an easier way to win games. If you find out, tell me, because I'm trying to get better. Considered on its own, the 3-point extension is a light shape. So we've read this. In professional Go, the sequence at the top of the gauge would be thought of as lack of severity by white. Instead, one expects to see white invade at once, and then give up this invasion stone for the moment, as here. It has very good chances of later revival, unless black plays once more to suppress it. So, an immediate invasion here, instead of this. So it does look a bit better. And then the jump here, and then the Kosume. On the third and fourth lines. In strategic terms, on the left, black 3 has the meaning of making the plays at the X points less important. That is, working against central strategy. Considered in isolation, the shape has an invasion point at A. When the marked white stone is present, it is normally possible to invade. The tactics can be difficult. On the right, this way is simple, but black loses territory with little return. On the left, if black resists with 4, so bump, extend, ascend, Hane, 7, Hane, 8, 9, 10, connect, Looks like black has two cutting points and white can come out with B. If black resists with 4, the fight becomes complex with white having to take into account I space, playing at B, and the cut C and D on the right. On the right, black might also try the descend into the ascend when white bumps against. So the hane underneath, the hane back, and then the jump out. White can escape with 5 and 7, but must worry about timing. In contrast, black 3 here leaves black a good play at A, and white a play at B. I did not know white had a play at B here. That was really good. On the right, white can invade at C or play at D. So I've seen C and I've seen D. I've used C before. I have not seen D. I quite like the idea of D here. I would love to see it. So attachment here makes way for a wedge, Atari, extend, connect, and then ladder. So white can get a good result invading on the third line if both these ladders are favorable. As in 5.3, if black 4 is at 5, white gets good shape. If black 4 is at 5. Alright, so that means white connects under here. Yeah. When white starts at 3, black 4, white 1, we have the same results. Yeah, it's a transposition. Okay. There's another line on the right here. Where black Atari is from the bottom. And black gets over concentrated here, capturing this one stone. It would normally be fairly nice because it's a Panuki, but black would rather have this one stone anywhere else on the board that is not nearby these. Like 2 spaces further, it would be amazing. 3 spaces and 1 space higher, that would be really nice. But that close, it's really inefficient. And white gets good shape laddering. I would say it's better shape because black had 2 stones there and then white played in there. So the fact that white got that, very huge. An example of shaped-based thinking in a large-scale position. Black has ignored a focal point played by white. Black can make a 3-3 invasion at the top left corner to handle that situation. However, white will develop a very solid position, and black's influence over the top side will be much diminished. White can have confidence in future fighting. So the Kosumi here is the correct follow-up if black ignores, apparently. You can say that a play on the second line early in the game has some strategic purpose. In compensation for its low position, here black 1 has a mole play at 6.2, trying to live in a white framework. On the right, marks the normal invasion point in this shape. I would not invade at that point. That looks terrible. This is an opening pattern with efficient shapes for both sides. On the right, white can take profit by invading later, but black ends up strengthened. So on the left, that looks so loose. And I would never play this. Either side, I would never play it. So it looks like this is the placement to Tsuji. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I've seen this placement to Tsuji before. There is sometimes an attempt to play 2 at 4, but you can push and cut and then threaten to kill these and then extend out over here. But the sacrificing stones will die. It's just white gets a lot of forcing moves out of it. I saw that today in a Dwyron game that was posted about a year ago. This is one idea for invading white's framework, setting up the revised or high Chinese opening style. There is room for black 3 to extend. The resulting position is complex. White has plays at A, B, or C to consider. Why would black play this way? With another play at B, black is settled, but white may intervene, a point already made in 2.3. There are these potential co-fights, both of them examples of the co-lock idea from Chapter 5, which we played on a Josekipedia, right? We looked at that on Josekipedia. So, invade here. Preventing the, Alright, yeah. So you sacrifice the one stone for co-lock. I don't like the inside play by white here. It looks very bad. These are big fights and hard to judge. I quite like this a lot better for white. Except that Kosumi here. It feels a little inefficient. There's also this attack for white. Up to 10, black has lived and also avoided being shut in. Black would probably not die without black 10 of the last diagram, but it is still important to play it. So, attachment, Hane, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's still important to play it to retain access to the center and preserve a big endgame play in the corner at A. On the left, so push, cut, Hane, connect, extend, and it looks like white is being squeezed. It looks like it's unreasonable for white to cut. Black now has the marked stone in play. On the right, the immediate clamp play. White 1 is too simple-minded to kill black, and it is a loss. Yeah, playing this clamp here looks kind of disgusting. Push in, cut. I don't know why the cut here. Maybe Aji later, because there's a ko, right? And then extend up here. But black is out. So that should be fun for black. Black could play as shown, cutting at 4 to set up a liberty shortage, or holding back 2 and 4 for later, since black 2 here is normally worse in endgame terms than jumping into 3. But black cannot rely on white attacking so bluntly. White will wait for an inconvenient moment. When a game is being played on a very large scale, one sees the fourth line plays, such as 1, to be followed up by 3 at a key point. In this case, black is thinking more about central development than points on the top side. I hate this line with a passion. I will never play a high approach on a 4-4 stone. Especially in a position like this. Like, the low approach is screaming that it's better here. Like, play here, white responds, black gets an enclosure from extension, and it looks sweet. White 1 looks like a blunder. Playing 3 and so far on before jumping to 7 is big, but there's some risk that white will play at A rather than 6. A plan tried out by top pros. This looks like a light shape. If black immediately jumps to 3, white could play 4 and 6, so attaching underneath here. And then if black plays away with 7, white can cut at 8. Black 9 looks to sacrifice. It's a light shape. Black 5 to build out her strength. So it's black 9 is looking to sacrifice black 5. On the right, a rare example in this book rather than in a game of playing into very bad shape. Black 9 is terrible. Black only gains a weak group. So that would be here. Yeah, that looks really bad. The 3-point extension may be invaded at A or B. It is a loose extension, so that unless black is strong locally, these invasion points probably live. On the right, there's no definite invasion point in the 2-space extension on the 4th line. However, it doesn't hold any territory firm. I do like the approach with 1 to this 3-point right here. On the top side, black 1 and 3 may suggest themselves. White 4, sooner or later, is a focal point. The normal way of thinking for black is to hold back with 3, not A. If black 3 were at A, white 4 would have more effect on black. The invasion suggested above would be more severe. It has to be understood that black is aiming for influence first. In placing 2 stones on the 4th line, the number of possibilities later tactical sequences such as these are quite large. So, invade here, Hane up, cat's face, I think it's called. And black's formation isn't inherently stable. Yeah, I'd rather play black 2 right here, just keeping the stones connected up. Depending on the situation, but yeah, it looks better. The attachment here, Hane underneath crosscut, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 connection. That looks like black gets a really good outside shape. White has used a ton of stones to capture this one black stone. Black can double Hane here in the future. Just force feeding white that one stone. And this white stone on the outside has been severely weakened. It has to be understood that black is aiming for influence first, placing 2 stones in the 4th line. The number of possibilities in later tactical sequences is large. Adding to the discussion in 10.1, we can say that in this case, the black formation on the 4th line is not inherently stable. So 10.6, I've seen this invasion before, and I'm very happy I get to read about it, because I don't necessarily know how to handle it that well. The tactical ideas from this chapter apply in many more situations, some of which need to be studied in depth. White 1 here is on a focal point, a key point for invasion, and white A or B will follow. In this case, the marked white stone makes the invasion at 1 possible. After 2, there are set sequences for white, but the priority is to identify white 1 as a vital point, threatening to connect out to the left. 2 further common examples of vital points. On the left, white 1 is based... Oh, I like this move a lot. I like this move a lot. That is one sweet looking move. I want to play a move like that in my game. White 1 is based on the double threat of A or B to connect out. On the right, not really in contradiction with the proverb in 7.7 on how to peep, since here white 3 connecting under after black 2 is large. But black does have other options. Black 2 connects solidly, or at 3 to squeeze 1's cut, for example. So, yeah, the solid connection does look better here because of that. This is a mistake I would play as black. This is something I would play. Although I would probably play the solid connection because I have a thing against hanging connections sometimes. Chapter 11. Cramped. This chapter gives the other side of the story on the 2-point extension. When it is cramped by two white stones, as shown in the left-hand diagram, it can be attacked in many ways. The placement at 1, or A, is something of a revelation when you first discover it. If black blocks at 2, white should play at 3 in the left-hand diagram. The other choice on the right can be criticized. So it looks like this is just trying to link up. This one looks like it's trying to divide, not link up. So it doesn't feel like they're playing to strengthen the stone. It feels like they're trying to attack with a weak stone. Black cannot hope to resist as in the left-hand diagram. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't like 5, but I see why it's necessary. What about the right-hand way? What about the right-hand way? So this just connects up the stones and makes good shape with 6. On the left, black makes better shape with this choice of 4. I like the turn. This is a filled triangle. When white connects here, black jumps out. If white pushes, black plays the bulge point. If white cuts, black plays the tiger mouth. And that stone is very light, so black doesn't really have to worry about it. So I quite like this better than 4 here, because it's lighter. Ah, yes, okay. They do illustrate that in the diagram. The exchange of 3 to 4 benefits black. There's also a chance black will resist as in on the left. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I still don't like that diagonal move. Leading to a wild position, both having black bad shape. On the right, if black plays 2, white 3 is inevitable. Yeah, I can see white 3. It's a shape point. White has to connect out. This feels definitely like the best move to play here. White can connect out on either side, but is thin. On the right, black blocks with the intention of sacrificing if necessary. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. White 5 here is reasonable, but cutting at 9 just helps black to make good shape up to 14. Yeah, that looks like good shape. 2-point extensions, capping attacks. The attack with the capping play at 1. I still have to get used to the point that if black plays B, it's the vital point of white's shape, but if white is strong and black is weak, then that's just really bad shape for black. I have kind of a bias against Elfin Eyes, which I shouldn't have. I feel like I should. There's many cases where I should play Elfin's Eyes where I don't. And also, there's many times where I poke out an Elfin's Eye where I shouldn't. So this is a shape I need to be careful about, or consider more often, and try to punish it less. Because it's not a mistake, it's a shape move. So black can move out with A or B, or try to build shape on the edge with one of the contact plays at C. On the right, black jumps out at 2. This is a common sense approach avoiding being shut in. Now white has an improved placement tactic at 5, so peep, connect, place. The black group has lost its base, and care is required. White 7 is strong if black plays 6, so black may play at 7. Interesting. Oh, I've never seen 3 before, but as soon as I see it, it looks like such a pretty shape. It looks like such a pretty shape. I think it's the symmetry. The capping attack stands or fails by white's response when it plays through at 2 here. The placement at 3 is excellent. I don't get placement to Tsuji's a lot. It's one of my weaknesses. And the continuation up to 13, white builds central strength while black still only has one eye. 3, 4, 5, 6, cut. Descend, threaten the save, connect, cut, descend, mouth shape, and that is some good shape for white and some really inefficient shape for black. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stones. Capturing 2 stones. And being surrounded. And there's still a move right here. Besides the sacrifice option just seen, white can attack black's base on the left. So 3, 4, connect out, turn 7, jump. This is possible for black, but black has poor eye shape because the capping stone is well placed relative to the mark stone. All right, what about on the right? 3, 4, 5, jump 7, and it looks like on the right this is possible for black, but black has poor eye space. All right. In practice, black will often play one of the contact moves in order to settle. Interesting. Interesting. I've seen this shape before, but I usually play 2 on top, not on bottom. But I see how it gains a base. A little better. In the right-hand diagram, white takes some profit, but black emerges with good shape running out. So, on a cut, extend, can extend here. All these stones are working well together. 7 to capture, 8 Atari, 9 here, and then black jumps out very efficiently with 10. I quite like this. Although I would probably have played here, even though I'm starting to see that's more inefficient, because I would have been afraid of the elephant's eye here. The variations on the other side are similar, but there's one significant difference. White is less likely to follow the right-hand diagram because the marked white stone cap ends up being too close to black's strength. Since black 10 is good shape and has adverse effects on the marked stone. Black should play contact in this faction, and white 3 is not the best. So black should play in this fashion, apparently. Because the Hane here, and the same exact line we saw earlier, instead of jumping out to here, we play this hanging connection, weakening this white stone. So that's pretty good. In this game, white has ignored the capping play and started a fight on the left. In which black stones lost some but gained in influence. While black lost some stones but gained some influence. When black plays 1 to cramp white, simply defends with 2 and 4 here would have been good. White 2 here from the game leads to the placement attack at 3. White overestimated the chance of eyes on the edge, and black's blunt attacking move succeeds in killing the group. Other ways to attack. White plays at A, B, C, or D may be useful in some contexts. On the right, white 1 here looks for more territorial gain than the pawn's power. The knight's move would indicate if white wishes to build territory or framework. White C is similar in terms of direction, but is a contact play, as so is probably employed more as a defensive play. White D emphasizes the center. On the right, both black 2 to jump out and white 3 to explore defects in black's shape are natural. White should not expect too much from the double peep at 5. As white attacks continue, the immediate attempt to cut black on the left fails. So connect, push, cut, connect 11, 12, and it looks like either these white stones will die or these white stones will die, and there's no cut. So it's because of a shortage of liberties. So 5, 6, 7, 8 on the right is a more reasonable way to sustain a profitable attack. Black can play a contact move to defend. On the left, black 2 and 4 are good shape, but white has succeeded in developing to the left. Interesting. I would play 2 nowadays, but I think I would have missed 4. I think I probably would have played the cat's mouth or crawled, which would have been a mistake. And then white would have played here and I would have been sad. So, what do we have here? 1, 2, attach underneath 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which is similar to what we saw before, but the white stone was here and the hanging connection happened, but now the white stone is here and the connection happens. So bad shape versus good shape, very, very small difference in the position leads to good shape versus bad shape. Interesting. In this game sequence, white should have answered the extension 1, which was held back 1 line, by extending it 2. White 2, as shown, makes territory, protects white's shape, and prepares a later invasion at the top. Yeah, I like that. As it was, white used a play to build on the left side, and black's plays at 3, which I really like because it secures this side extension a lot more. White 4 is correct shape to defend, but the exchange was a gain for black. Later in the game, white invaded 1. Considering white stones on the left and right, black 2 rather than A was a good point. Good play. The reason can be seen after white 3 and 5. Black prefers to be 1 line further out in the center since the base of black's group on the edge is uncertain. So that's when you do the double jump. Plays 2 and 5 leads on to the hangama concept of chapter 14. Another cramped group. The principles of attack and defense are the same with other examples of groups on the side subject to cramp, though the details naturally vary. Here, white plays into trouble with 3 and 5. So attach, extend, jump. Yeah, I don't like the attachment. I mean, if you're going to invade at the 3-3. It looks terrible here anyways. Because black gets influence and it's like really good influence. So on the right, there's a telling placement at 5. Preparing 1 and 3. White should have nothing to do with this playing directly, 2 directly at A. So this was, alright, so we got to this position, and then black plays away, and then white plays, no. So black extends up here, white hanes, which white should not do, white should jump. Black hanes, white extends, placement, threads connect up this way, or play this move, which just looks so darn good. Oh my god. I want to play a move like that in my game. Wow. That's a neat placement. So, white could play out with the knight's move first. On the left, white does well if black takes the bait. I feel like a lot of people at my level would fall for this. On the right, black should peep with 2 and 4 and attack. On the left, therefore, the best play for white is 1 here before extending. The variation seen above reveals this is a key point. The cap at 4 is properly answered by 5. On the right, setting up a ko is a lighter way to deal with black's framework. White 3 again is the vital point, threatening 4. Chinoisuri. Exploiting a cramped group is at the heart of the Chinese opening. I've been in this position before. This exact position. I played the low Chinese a lot. White tries to settle here, but black A or B next makes white uncomfortable. You see, white always attaches here. In my games, I've always seen white attach here, and then I extend. On the right, white moves out with a sacrifice play. So, black A, and then white plays instead of so white plays here underneath the black stone. Black hanes, white cuts, hane here, descend 9, bulge point, and hanging connection. That looks like good shape for white. Looks like white doesn't really have a base, but it looks like this is pretty decent shape, and this is pretty decent. When black jumps up, white 2 can be met by black 3. On the right, black's plan. White has been confined and has to worry about eye shape. So instead of connecting to the peep, you attach here and then connect. It is natural for white to ignore the peep, at least for the moment, on the left. The right choice of 1 is an interesting alternative way to respond. When black pushes down, it is a spirited and professional way. The usual cut at 3 works well here. By challenging black to a ko on the edge, white has avoided passive play. So instead of pushing here, you attach. Hane, cut 4 here, 5, 6, 7, Yeah, it's a ko. Chapter 12, Outnumbered. Let's see, it's 8 o'clock, and I'm gonna keep reading. Looks like we're at about 20 pages. I might finish this book tomorrow, actually, because I got 30 pages until page 200, and then 20 pages after that to finish. And I just read like 20 pages now in 40 minutes. So I might get to page 200 by 9 o'clock, by the end of the stream. So 12.1, Calculated Risks. There are several good reasons why you may want to leave a situation on the board and play away. In the realm of tactics, you may wish to ignore a co-threat or ladder breaker. That is, you expect a greater advantage by playing elsewhere. There can also be good strategic reasons. Opening strategies from hundreds of years ago show both players ignoring the play of the other. In fact, the vast development of corner opening theory has probably adversely affected amateur play, in the particular way that players are reluctant to ignore the other's moves. This can result in the failing of following the opponent around the board. Naturally, it is much easier to employ the strategy of leaving situations unfinished, if one can calculate in advance the risks involved. When black ignores white 1, white normally plays next at 3. At 3? Oh, yeah. Okay, I see now. It's the This is a shape move. We've seen this shape before. It's the double large knight here, and then this is sliding here to take the base away. So that makes sense. Then black can slip out of the corner at 4 to establish a group on the side with 6. The black cornerstone may still be useful. White has another option for attack, namely to play 3 at A. However, black B is a normal answer, and black will still survive unless white is very strong locally. I quite like this for black. White has spent 4 moves going and killing this one stone. It's a little bit odd. The computer would probably hate it. Ignoring a 1-point pincer. The examples in this section have a common theme: the consequences of ignoring a 1-point pincer. On the left, white can live by wedging in at 2. So wedge 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Interesting. What happens if black plays 9 here? Black plays here. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's going to live. It's going to be a little complicated, and black's probably going to try to kill it, because that's what Q players do. So white at A is correct. Playing at A, white 8 at A is white at 8 is correct. Playing at A lives as well. But after black B, the cutting point at C becomes unimportant. On the right, white 4 threatens both A and B. Interesting. Yeah, this is pretty strong shape. It's not good shape at the moment. It's light. White should avoid ignoring the pincer, the high pincer right here. Black becomes very thick. This sort of exchange early in the game will make fighting hard for white. So 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. Black has become very thick here. That is a thick group. In the case of the high approach, it is the low pincer that needs most in answer. On the left, black does well with 1, since white can't prevent a connection. White plays the bulge point at 2. Then waits for a moment to play at A. Okay, so this is on the left here. Alright, that makes sense. I might Tanuki from this pincer soon, because this looks like a line I would quite like to play. Because I like Sente. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I like Sente. On the right, another way for black to play, leaving the white stones rather heavy. I don't like this. So maybe I'm not gonna play away here. So when the pincer stone is on the 4th line, white can ignore another play on the left, and then seek light in the corner with 4 and 6. This is an example of Sabaki, chapter 15. On the right, black 1 hears a bad idea. White's Panuki capture with 6 makes resilient shape. So, ignoring twice, 4, 5, 6. This one I quite like Tanuking from. This, or not at the moment, but I might try this. So, at least the attachment under here I quite like. This is an example of Spocky. Okay, so black 1 here is a bad idea on the right. So here, Hane cut, take, ko, and then I don't know if white fills in that ko with 8. Maybe white plays here and then does something like that. The 1-point pincer after the 4-point is frequent in modern professional Go. On the left, the usual continuation is based on 5.3. So, why would you ever play it 2? I would never play it 2. Oh, if you Tanuki from here, attach wedge 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. 15 here. Okay, I could see if you played away here. That's how it would go. But black becomes thick in Gote. Black 9 could be at 10 also. So that I don't know what I would do there. I don't know what I would do at all. Because it looks like black just stole a base of white. And there's nothing white can do about it. I don't see how to prevent it. Like push and then connect underneath immediately. So invade the 3-3, cut off 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bump here 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. Black 9 Could be at 10. Okay. Okay, I see. But what about on the left? So 8, 9, 10. Oh, 11 hasn't been played yet. Okay, never mind. When white has played the slide into the corner and then ignores the pincer, the odd diagonal 2 is a reasonable shape to make after black 1. Both of these variations are reasonable for white in the local position. On the right, black 7 at 8 would be passive. White would make good shape easily by using the threat of A. So what is this? So this is after... Okay, 4 here instead of here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Black 7 at 8 would be passive. Okay. Around the enclosures. It is inevitable to feel some local disadvantage in playing near a well-fortified enclosure. These examples are about building viable shape. The contact play at white 2 is a good defensive resource. Black 3 in the right-hand diagram is a little bit passive. White 6 and 8 are light. If black plays the hane on the top, white can resort to a ko. Another passive black response is 3. White jumps out aiming at A and B. Yeah, table shaper just jumping out again. When black replies at 5 here, white 6 is good, the knight's move. Black's 7 and white 8 in the left-hand diagram are natural. White retains some hope of playing later at A. So this attachment right here, which I have never seen before. This immediate cut by black is a big failure. So 6 here, 7 here, 8, 9, and then 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's great shape for white. For what? 1 stone? Black looks very overconcentrated. This page looks at a direct frontal approach to the other enclosures. In this case, white 3 is a vital point to make shape outside. I'm wondering what the computer might think of the star points here, because we didn't even know that you could play the star points at this point in time. So 3 might be a good idea here. White can also play at A for life in the corner, depending on the overall position. White can be satisfied with good shape built in the right-hand diagram. So 4 here, 5, this probing move, hane, bump, 8, jump. Looks like a good table shape. Oh, what? What? They did know about the attachment? With the 2-point enclosure, white can immediately take action with 3 and 5. White will live, though black becomes thick. So 5 here, Atari here, and then connect under, but with ko. I would have probably played here before, but I've seen all these ko variations, and professionals would go to ko, and it's just... Maybe I'm missing something without a ko. So this looks like a weird approach on the corner. Looks like a probing move. In this case of the 1 point enclosure, white 1 is not a good idea. Oh, okay. Well, I was just saying it looked weird. I'm glad it is weird because now my understanding of Go is not completely disrupted. But white should not expect a good result with the 3 3 points. Black can secure the corner and take Sente to deal with the left hand side. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. Looks like white just has a weak group here, and this black corner is a little more solid. And there are moves you can play against this black corner that wouldn't be like that. Like, I think approaching here is a move. There's also the attachment here, which is very good. So 1 would be even weirder nowadays. 2 plays against the star point. The normal reasons for the appearance of these shapes would be a co-threat or a ladder breaker is ignored. So 4 here, jump here, 6 here. After 1 and 3, black can make shape by playing to preserve symmetry at 4. Then white simply connects with 5. The point is that neither Atari plays at A or B is very good. Black takes advantage of this by sliding out to 6. If white does play the Atari, we can expect a result like in the left-hand diagram. So connect and then slide. If black had descended on the right, white would develop in a similar way, but with much more influence. So 4 here, 5 connect, slide, 7 here, 8, 9, 10, 11 here. This means also that white 3 is questionable. Black can answer with 4. White A, black B returns us to a previous variation, but white B, black A is a tough fight when white wants a clear advantage. Part 5, Theory. So we are on chapter 13. It's 8:15. I think we can keep on going. We're on page 180. Let's see how far we can go by finishing chapter 13. Doing the necessary or losing the plot. The central character in Pushkin's Queen of Spades is led to his downfall by overriding his cherished principle of not risking the necessary to gain the superfluous. In Go, it is often hard to understand how to distinguish the two. One aspect of improving your strength is to shed all unnecessary plays. In a sense, this is more important than making good shape. The gain in making the correct shape may only be a couple of points, compared with the second best play. Wow, you just mentioned this in chapter 13 of the book. Some misdirected moves are almost completely wasted. It is common to characterize inferior moves as 80% or 50% of full value, and so on. An amateur 1-dan probably plays 90% moves on average over the game. Top players operate at around 98 or 99% efficiency. Yeah, I can see that. These figures do assume that perfect play in Go resembles what can be seen in professional Go. This is simply a hypothesis extrapolating from the current state of knowledge, and it's hard to see how to test it. Well, you can test it with a computer. What are the most common causes of wasted moves? High on the list are playing to save a group that is already alive, threatening a group with a play that isn't in fact sente, capturing stones that have no strategic meaning, defending territory that is badly located, example an open skirted, carrying on a set sequence through momentum alone. Generally, classes of mistakes are safe plays. Nothing safe about playing badly. Miscalculations about the burden of proof. If a forcing play isn't clearly forcing and clearly required right now, it is quite likely to be bad. And misconceptions are which about which are the key areas or stones. Both of these sequences allows white to escape, but in the left-hand diagram, black gains more outside influence. Since the exchange of white 1 for black 2 is that diagram isn't necessary, it should be omitted. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Since the exchange of white 1 for black 2 in this diagram is not necessary, it should be omitted. Okay, so just the cut here. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like I would play this cut a lot in games, so I feel like I'm wasting moves here. So I should just play the cut like this. Don't play 1, 2, 3, just play it 3. There is no good reason to play at 1 here. It loses black a liberty and a co-threat, and also some potential play for later. With black 2, or 1 point above, on the right, a crosscut, seen on page 103 for black, connecting solidly after black Atari. A very common case of principle is don't play Atari and then connect. Alright, this can look like planless play. Black 3 in this diagram is part of a plan to sacrifice one stone. That builds strong shape for black in one direction. Quite generally, if your play at 1 has an obvious answer, you should have played 3 already lined up. So this looks like a bad exchange because you should have just played here. Yeah, I see why. Yeah, that looks like a bad exchange for black. 1 is a bad exchange. One of the key proverbs is don't go back to patch up. Effective play normally aims to generate substantial forward momentum. Mi and ABC, a common phenomena of fighting. White 1 sets up one of two good shaped continuations with 3. See 15.1 for more in this right-hand case. The mechanism behind such play is one aspect of the Japanese term miai. After playing 1 in this position, first seen in 9.1, black will be content with either of the plays at 3. Okay, so 1 here, and then black plays. Okay. I would have missed 1. I would have missed the knight's move. Summing it up, black's play at C makes A and B into miai, of pair of points of which black can be sure of 1. We can enumerate a further usage of principle. Don't play either of ABC or BAC, just play C. Interesting. Yeah, I would have probably played A, and that would have been my mistake. I think this is a shape problem in my games. 13.4 Double purpose plays. Killing two birds with one stone is a proverb in many languages. If you want your stones to work harder for you, place them where their purpose is life or death, or isn't limited to just one direction of play. So approach here, kick, pincer, attach, extend, protects the cutting point here, protect the cutting point here. Black attacks white single-mindedly. On the right, black 2 sets up subsequent plays at A to attack or to build a framework. This is more reasonable. The points A and B are like Mii. If white challenges black on the upper side with 3, black 4 has a double purpose, attacking white and building on the top. Black 6 has 3 aims, attacking the white group to the left and right and avoiding getting shut in. A well-masked trap in the endgame. White 4 should be at 7. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So Hana here, cut, take, cut. Interesting. So it's 2 ko's, which white has to find the first ko threat. So connect here, and black takes. 13.5. Forcing plays for definite effect. A forcing play is one that the opponent will answer in practice. Here, white 1 is a professional level forcing play. When black answers at 2, white has Mii points at A or B to live. So white 1, black 2. Without this exchange, it may be possible later for black to kill white on the right, but once it is played, the white group is definitely alive. From analysis of 1999 British Championship. It is quite tempting, therefore, for black to ignore white 1 when it is played. However, black's shape then is filled with cutting points. If white follows up by pushing at 2 in the left-hand diagram, black will have a very unfavorable fighting position. So, connect, play here. What? Oh, I guess they don't show the diagram of the push and cut. But here is the connection here where white jumps here, black plays the attachment, Hane, extend, descend, throw in, connect, Hane, here, now black does not have 2 eyes. Forcing plays are highly effective if they achieve something definite, retaining the initiative, and can be abandoned once played. You should question the value of a forcing play if any of the following might be true. Ignoring it is a real option for the opponent. It will provoke an exchange of plays that doesn't do anything clear-cut for you, or even benefits the opponent. It might be later on to play another way in that part of the board. Wastes a co-threat. It might be answered in a way that resists your intention, or leads the game down an unexpected road. You feel some obligation to stay the stone played, or may be drawn into a local fight that loses the initiative. All strong players seem to be generally agreed on the matters of shape, but the same cannot be said about forcing plays. Playing forcing moves early, the game will have an abundance of fixed shapes that have no further flexibility. Fixed shapes were a feature of the games of the great champion Sakata Iyo. Probes. Information-led effects. A probe is a play that makes the opponent reveal information. It is a forcing play in a sense, but of a different kind. After a successful probe, you should feel your opponent has made some sort of commitment or concession about which you were previously uncertain. White 1 gets the answer black 2, meaning that white may later on live in the corner with B. Black could have answered at A, B, or C. Also, having discovered black's intention to emphasize the outside, white may be able to turn elsewhere on the board. Whether white's return to play at B before black suppresses white's stone with C depends on the rest of the board. The right-hand diagram shows a further probe, white 3. If black answers with 4, then black F, white G, if black became strong in the center, it is conceivable black would later answer white 3 with black D. Then white at 4, black at E sends white running out into the center. If this is a real possibility, white can play at 3 to test black's reaction without necessarily making life in the corner and gote. Counting and self-criticism. An ineffective way to play is to start or continue a strategy that has no chance of winning the game, even if it works in its own terms. This may seem so obvious as to not require saying. On the other hand, unless you count the game, you may fall into this trap without realizing it. If you do counting carefully enough to realize that you are a little behind in a game, there's still the question of what you can do about it. Playing on the hopes that the opponent will make a mistake is a practical strategy, but not one which will lead you much improvement except in the endgame. All in all, when offered a chance to pursue a plan which leads down a cul-de-sac, you should shun it. Each play of yours should aim to put you ahead of the opponent, so that simply playing a passive big point or simplifying matters by starting the endgame is not an option for the other side. Evaluating the effects of middle game plans. Consider three kinds of vigorous middle game plays that have been seen earlier in this book: crosscut fights, invasions, and reduction plays. These are types of actions that one may take when apparently behind in the game. They still require some counting in order to assess their results. This is most clearly necessary in the case of reduction plays. See section 9.3. If the deepest reduction play one can safely make still leaves the opponent enough secure territory to win, this plan must be rejected. Other possibilities to be considered are reducing with deeper plays and hoping for the best, invading deeply and challenging the opponent to kill you outright, or trying to build up strength on the basis of an attack in another part of the board first. In the case of invasions of extensions on the side, which was the topic of Chapter 10, the point of view of counting throws up an instructive paradox. The territory defined by the group invading might only be worth 6 or 8 points. The creation of a small living group inside might be worth the same again, totaling about 12 to 15 points. This is the value of a large endgame play, no more. The value of the biggest opening moves is twice as much, and plays in the middle game rarely drop much below 20 points, and are often considered more valuable. One has, though, also to count negative values for any weak groups created, in the range of 10 to 20 points. This number can be explained. Assuming the opponent will play the equivalent of one substantial endgame play against them in Sente before they are settled. An invasion that creates a weak group is very different from one that simply affects territory. With that in mind, it may be seen that the true assessment of crosscut fights, such as were seen in 7.1, is mostly to do with the value of up to 4 weak groups created in them. The first example on page 96 resulted in 2 settled groups for white, and a small insecure corner and a weak center group for black. It was therefore favorable for white. It seems that an acute sense of positional judgment does naturally link to objectivity about the position on the board, and To find an effective plan of play, one has some chance of winning if the game is to succeed. So chapter 14. It's 8:30. Um how many chapters does this book have? It has two more chapters. So tell you what, I've been reading for an hour and 15 minutes. I've got two chapters left in the book. I'm going to stop reading for tonight, call it a day. I am going to resume tomorrow. Probably going to play a few games first, though. And then day after that, I'm probably going to do the puzzle section. So thank you for watching. I am going to conduct a raid now. So raid. Oh, Z Huge Trollmang. I will be posting this stream on YouTube. So I was just reading aloud Shape Up. We covered, I think it was chapters 11 through 14. I'll be covering some more reading tomorrow as well. So I'm going to raid, who do I want to raid? I'll raid Daniel ML. Well, thank you for watching. You all have a nice night.